Let's get started with our first news. Dana White removes multiple UFC fighters from the roster. The UFC is actively clearing out its lineup, and this time, a lot of European fighters are affected, as pointed out by Tom Feeley. The first name that shocked the community was Reep Fagrinov. He was 6-0 in the UFC with one draw, making his release confusing for many fans. MMA Junkie's Nolan King later confirmed that Reep parted ways with the UFC after fighting out his contract. As of now, the reason he didn't resign remains unclear. The MMA community is buzzing. Fans question why the UFC doesn't resign fighters like Reep, who are undefeated, while keeping others with losing streaks. Critics argue that prioritizing fun fights over merit hurts the sport long-term, with Russian fighters seeing an overall reduction on the roster. The UFC is a business, and revenue seems to matter more than sport or legitimacy. Washed fighters still get main or co-main events, undefeated fighters get cut, and undeserving fighters receive title shots. Reep Fagrinov broke his silence, stating, "Hello everyone. A lot of questions are coming in about the UFC. Yes, the information is reliable, but nobody fired us. Our contract just expired, and for certain reasons, it was not renewed. Nothing terrible happened. Offers are already pouring in with different pay. I'm not in this sport for the money. I just like to fight. We fought with dignity there, and in no case are we worried." Next, Loic Ratsibov was removed from the roster, which made sense since he hadn't fought since losing to Trey Ogden in July 2024 and was 2-2 in the UFC. The final fighter released was Eliezer Zaleski dos Santos, who was 1-16-1 in the UFC, with his most recent loss to Neil Magny in August of this year. The roster shakeup shows the UFC's focus on business over pure merit. Move on to another news. Sean O'Malley wants Peter Yan at the UFC White House. At UFC 324 in January, Sean is set to face Sonia Dong, and according to him, a dominant performance could put him in line for a championship fight at the White House. Some fans may argue that Merab deserves the rematch after defending his belt 4 times and only losing to Peter Yan earlier this month. Still, Sean believes there's nobody else the UFC would want representing the USA than himself. Here's what Sean had to say. "Dude, I just have a whole new energy. Very excited about this fight. When Peter beat Merab, I got a whole new mental switch. I'm going to go out there and beat Sonia. And then me and Peter at the White House. I don't see anyone else it makes sense. People are saying, you're coming off 2 losses. We don't want to see that fight. January 25th, I have to put on a masterclass performance. Might be a 15-minute clinic, might be a KO. We want to see Merab versus Peter, but ultimately, you ain't going to want to see anyone else other than me versus Peter at the White House. If you don't want to see that, okay, I'll chill. Who else are they going to have? Peita is not on the card, Ile is not on the card. Conor, who knows? John Jones isn't on the card either. Seriously, who else are they going to have? A win over Sonia Dong at UFC 324 could definitely put Sean in front of the line for a title shot. The UFC will likely stack the card with American fighters since it's at the White House. With big stars like Ilya dealing with family issues, Alex Peita with a broken foot, John Jones without an opponent, and Conor being Conor, options are limited. Adding Sean to the card helps solve that problem and positions him for a potential championship showdown against Peter Yan. Sean also revealed that tomorrow marks 1 year since he stepped away from social media. He decided to leave all platforms except YouTube because social media was toxic and distracting. "It's been life-changing," Sean said. "I still watch YouTube, catch some shorts, but mostly poker content. I've been sober from the chaos, and my home life is way better. Mentally, this year has been the best. I still have that little devil on my shoulder, but I'm riding it. Life feels good, and I'm 5 weeks out from the fight. 2026 is shaping up to be the best year yet." Move on to another news. Luke Rockhold criticizes the UFC for pushing Paddy Pimblett. Ahead of UFC 324, the MMA community has had mixed feelings about the fight, and one fighter who isn't impressed with the UFC's approach is Luke Rockhold. During an appearance on Submission Radio, he called out the UFC for trying to constantly push Paddy Pimblett any way they can so that he can win the belt. Luke made it clear that he doesn't respect the hype around interim titles and believes the promotion is doing too much to manufacture a champion. "I think they're trying to do anything they can to put little Paddy into a title situation. You know what? I just don't. I'm annoyed with fighters that think the interim title means anything. You see guys like Justin Gaethje, he knows it. None of that really means much to him because he wants to be a real champion. But then you've got Paddy already talking about, I'm going to be champion, like it's already there. This fight, just like that belt, means something. I think they're doing anything they can to give Paddy the best matchup so he can be champion and bring that love back to the UK. I don't know, man. Luke then shifted focus to praise Arman, highlighting his recent activity in the grappling scene and the challenge he poses for Ilya. Arman's elite grappling can be a real problem for Ilya. His wrestling is legit. His grappling is legit. We really get to see how good Ilya is on the ground because he's good, but Arman is elite. If Arman and Ilya were to fight, it would be a serious test. That's a clash of skills, man, and it would show just how high-level grappling can impact the game. Luke's comments underline the ongoing tension between the UFC's promotional strategies and fighter merit. The push for marketable stars like Paddy Pimblett often creates frustration among established fighters who feel real accomplishments are being overshadowed by hype. At the same time, the recognition of elite talents like Arman highlights the respect the sport still has for skill and technical mastery. Luke's honesty reflects a broader conversation in MMA about legitimacy, promotional bias, and the balance between business and true competition. Fans are left analyzing how matchups, hype, and skill intersect in the modern UFC landscape, with elite grapplers like Arman continuing to raise the bar for the division, and setting up intriguing potential clashes against top names like Ilya. Move on to another news. Michael Bisping does not think Jake Paul showed unbelievable heart in his boxing match with Anthony Joshua. Bisping explained that while it was a great show, the idea that Jake displayed extraordinary courage is overstated. A great game plan and preparation, unbelievable heart. And the reality is, hold on. First off, it wasn't unbelievable heart. He was dancing around, and there's no shame in that. There's no shame in that because we have weight classes for a reason. But it wasn't unbelievable heart, right? It was a good show. A great show. Bisping clarified that the reason Jake lost was mainly due to the size difference, not skill. Jake lost because of the size difference, not because of the skill difference. AJ was hanging on that neck, pushing him down, and when you have someone that heavy constantly doing that, it does suck the energy out of you. Jake lost because of the size difference. I'm not trying to insult the guy, I'm not. But as a fighter, as a former fighter, as someone experienced in mixed martial arts and combat sports, this is a crazy shout. He lost because he was smaller. He also lost because he had no business being in there with him. Anthony Joshua is by far a better boxer. Of course he is. You know this. Every one of you watching knows this. I know this. The whole world knows this. Bisping emphasized the importance of perspective and the role of management in protecting fighters. Of course, this guy's his manager, so he's going to spin it. But there is a reason why we have managers. We have managers to protect us from ourselves. Jake's performance was a good show, but let's not overhype it. It wasn't about heart. It wasn't about bravery. It was a matchup dictated by weight classes and physical reality. Anthony Joshua's dominance came from his size, his experience, and his boxing skills, and Jake stepping in was always going to be a challenge beyond what most people could realistically handle. Bisping's take reflects a fighter's perspective, reminding fans that combat sports are about more than hype and social media narratives. It's about skill, size, strategy, and experience. Jake Paul delivered an entertaining show, but Michael Bisping insists the reality of the matchup cannot be ignored. And recognizing the true challenge Anthony Joshua presented is what separates perception from reality in combat sports. Move on to another news. Justin Gaethje's coach shocked everyone after scoring higher on a punching machine than both Gaethje and Kamaru Usman. What started as a lighthearted moment quickly turned into pure chaos as the numbers flashed on the screen and jaws dropped around the room. At first, nobody could believe what they were seeing. The reactions said it all. Confusion, laughter, and disbelief filled the air as the coach stepped up and casually delivered his shots. Gaethje went first, landing clean punches and putting up a strong number, exactly what you'd expect from one of the most dangerous strikers in MMA. Kamaru Usman followed, showing solid power and control, proving once again why he's known for his physical strength. But then came the moment nobody expected. The coach walked up, adjusted his stance, and let his hands go. Boom. The machine lit up with a score that topped both fighters. Everyone froze. The reactions were instant. Huh? Oh my gosh! No step! That's a lefty! The room erupted as the coach smiled and shrugged it off like it was nothing. Someone yelled out the numbers, and suddenly it was clear. He didn't just edge them out, he beat them. The score climbed past what Gaethje and Usman had already posted, leaving everyone stunned. Gaethje laughed it off, shaking his head as the disbelief turned into pure entertainment. The coach, clearly enjoying the moment, joked around and even offered to show proper technique. "Let me do it for you. Let me show you," he said, as everyone gathered closer to the machine. The energy was loud, competitive, and hilarious all at once. As the attempts continued, the machine started acting up, leading to even more jokes. "It's broken," echoed through the room as laughter took over. Whether the machine was truly off or not didn't matter anymore. The moment had already gone viral. This clip was a reminder that power doesn't always come from the biggest names or the most famous fighters. Sometimes the coach in the background has hands that can still shock the world. It was a fun, unexpected moment that showed the lighter side of combat sports, while still proving that real power and experience never fully disappear. Move on to another news. Arman Tsarukyan is set to face Lance Palmer at Real American Freestyle 5 on January 10th, and this is shaping up to be one of the most exciting grappling matchups early next year. This will be Arman's third grappling match in just 4 to 5 weeks, showcasing his relentless work ethic and dedication to the craft. His first match was against Mandy Balea for an ACBJ belt in Moscow, which he won decisively. Following that, he takes on UFC fighter Sher Magomedov under Hype FC on December 30th, before stepping into the RAF 5 cage against Lance Palmer in a lightweight bout. This will mark the first time Arman competes under the RF banner, making it a highly anticipated debut. As for Lance Palmer, he brings serious credentials to the table. He's a 2-time PFL champion, a former World Series of Fighting featherweight champion, and a 4-time NCAA Division I All-American wrestler. His wrestling background alone makes him a formidable opponent for anyone in the lightweight division, and this isn't going to be an easy challenge for Arman. Both fighters are known for their skill, technique, and competitive spirit, which sets the stage for a high-level showdown. RAF 5 is already shaping up to be an absolute stacked card, giving fans plenty of action during this long UFC layoff. Beyond Arman versus Lance Palmer, the event features other major matchups that are grabbing attention. Bo Nickel will face Yoel Romero in what promises to be a thrilling bout, and Kobe Sington will go up against Luke Rockhold, adding even more star power to the card. The lineup combines top-level grapplers, MMA veterans, and rising stars, giving fans a chance to see some of the best fighters outside the UFC in action. For Arman, this is an opportunity to showcase his grappling skills, now continue his winning momentum, and prove himself against a world-class wrestler in Lance Palmer. The stakes are high, and the performances leading up to this fight indicate that Arman is ready to take on anyone. RF5 is setting the tone for an explosive start to the year, and fans can expect fast-paced, technical, and competitive matchups that highlight the best of what MMA and grappling have to offer. With this card, RAF is showing that it's ready to deliver some of the most exciting fights for 2026, giving fans a reason to tune in and witness history in the making. Move on to another news. Sean O'Malley wants a rematch with Petrian at the White House if he can beat Sonia Dong at UFC 324. Sean says he has a whole new energy heading into this fight and is more focused than ever. Dude, I just have a whole new level of mental switch. Very excited about this fight. When Peter beat Merab, I got a whole new mindset, and I just knew I was going to go out there, beat Sonia, and then face Peter at the White House. I don't see anyone else. It just makes sense. And I could be wrong, but this is how I feel. People are saying I'm coming off 2 losses, that they don't want to see that fight. But January 25th, I have to put on a masterclass performance. It might be a 15-minute clinic, it might be a KO. That's what it's going to take. Sean emphasized that no one else is the right fit for a title fight at the White House. We want to see Merab versus Peter, sure, but the fight everyone really wants to see is me versus Peter at the White House. There's not going to be anyone else. If you don't want to see that, okay, I'll chill. I'll fight, I'll sit down. But seriously, who else are they going to put in that spot? Peita isn't on the card. Ilya isn't on the card. Connor, who knows? John Jones supposedly isn't on the card either. Seriously, who else are they going to have? This is the fight that makes the most sense for the fans, the promotion, and the story. Sean is fully aware of the stakes and the performance he needs to deliver. He knows a dominant win over Sonia Dong is crucial to securing the title shot, and he is ready to give fans everything they want. His confidence and focus show a fighter who has learned from past setbacks and is now fully prepared to step into the spotlight and seize his opportunity. This rematch is shaping up to be one of the most anticipated fights, with Sean bringing unmatched energy, precision striking, and determination. With other major stars like Peta, Ilya, Connor, and John Jones absent from the card, the path is clear for Sean to make this a defining moment in his career. Fans can expect an electrifying performance that could easily set up the championship showdown everyone has been waiting for, proving that Sean O'Malley is ready to dominate and deliver at the White House.